According to a recent Bloomberg report, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and Egypt are going to be signing some sort of military agreement. Let's explore the advantages and disadvantages, as well as what this means for the region. Now, first off, we don't really have many details on what's involved in this agreement. One possibility is a mutual defense agreement. A mutual defense agreement means that an attack on one country is considered an attack on all countries, and therefore the country that's attacked, the other ones must come and help it out in its defense. Now, this is something that would actually greatly benefit Somalia, because for Somalia, its military is already actually involved in internal issues. There's, of course, the Al-Shabaab insurgency that's in the central and southern parts of the country, as well as secessionists to the north. With Saudi Arabia and Egypt coming to its assistance, Somalia could be protected from aggression from other countries. And what countries are most likely to act aggressively towards Somalia? Well, first off would probably be Ethiopia. As we all know, Ethiopia already actually invaded Somalia back in either 2006 or 2007. But there's another threat that's actually a lot more recent, and that is Israel. Israel, of course, recently recognized Somaliland as being an independent and sovereign country. I'm not going to take a stance on whether that's the correct thing to do or not, but needless to say, Somalia considers Somaliland to be part of its territorial integrity. And were Israel to, for instance, establish some sort of military presence in Somaliland, then Somalia might be actually able to get the assistance of Saudi Arabia and Egypt to come to its defense. So it seems pretty good for Somalia, but let's look at some possible disadvantages of such an agreement. The first thing to understand is that Saudi Arabia to this day is actually still very close with Western powers. And let's remember that is Western powers that are largely responsible for destabilizing Somalia. I've, of course, mentioned in other videos the fact that the United States came in the 90s and made the Somali civil war a lot worse. The other thing to also know, though, about Saudi Arabia is this is one of the top sponsors of so-called radical Islam. Groups like, for instance, Al-Shabaab. So the question here is whether Saudi Arabia can be fully trusted. Probably a lot better than other countries, but still something just at the very least to be cautious about. The other thing to also consider is if we're having this mutual defense package, that also means the inverse, that if Saudi Arabia were to be attacked, Somalia, along with Egypt, would have to come to its assistance. And Saudi Arabia, for instance, is actually right now not getting along that well with the United Arab Emirates. And therefore, were it to go to war with that country, then Somali troops might have to be going over into Saudi Arabia instead of dealing with issues back home. There you have it. There's my analysis. I want to hear your thoughts. Please like and share. It really means a lot.